From bases along the Iranian coast, a coordinated swarm of more than 800 attack drones and 370 cruise, a wall of steel and explosives aimed directly at the heart of the American fleet.
On the decks of the carriers USS Gerald R. Ford and Abraham Lincoln, the deck crew moves with practiced efficiency.
On the bridge of the USS Gerald,
they are attacking a single integrated weapon, a nervous system valued at $1 trillion.
Beginning of March 2026, Persian Gulf.
the order is transmitted through encrypted channels. Close the Strait of Hormuz and attack the American fleet with everything. Now, that doctrine is unleashed.
On the bridge, the Admiral observes the screens. No shouts, no panic. The man with decades of experience.
What they don't fully understand is that they aren't attacking two carriers. They are attacking a network, a combat ecosystem.
A multi-domain naval force fully interconnected that functions as a single organism.
The re-readiness design tacticization, bid saturation.
It's a logical calculation based on mathematics, but the mathematics are about to face a system that operates with a different type of calculation.
From Washington, the president confirms military action. The response is not to seek a way out, it's to give a direct order: annihilate the Iranian Navy.
On the screens of the Gerald R. Ford, the first swarms of drones cross the threshold. Hundreds of small two-stroke engines buzzing across the Gulf.
Behind them, cruise missiles fly low, hugging the waves. And beyond in the stratosphere, ballistic missiles begin their descent.
A member in London sees it and uses it to complete their work.
The document is a single source of truth, updated in real time for everyone. Now imagine those team members are guided missile destroyers.
On the bridge of the USS Gerald R. Ford, the admiral in command of the strike group watches the screens.
The man with decades of experience on his face observes the symbols that begin to populate the digital map.
What the fragmented command doesn't fully understand is that they aren't attacking carriers.
A combat ecosystem valued at $1 trillion. A force that functions as a single organism. What they don't fully understand is that they aren't attacking two carriers. They are attacking a network.
A multi-domain naval force, totally interconnected, that functions as a single organism.
The Iranian declaration. They assume no defense can keep up the...
They calculate that losses will be acceptable if a single anti-ship missile impacts the hull of a 100,000-ton carrier.
But the mathematics are about to face a system that operates with a different type of calculation.
From Washington, the president confirms military action in a brief statement, mentioning the sinking of Iranian vessels.
It was a bold bet, and it was a catastrophic miscalculation. Washington's response is not to seek a way out.
Execute!
It is to give a direct order: annihilate the Iranian Navy.
On the screens of the Gerald R. Ford, the first swarms of drones cross the threshold. Hundreds of small two-stroke engines buzzing through the Gulf.
Behind them, the cruise missiles fly low, skimming the waves. And further out in the stratosphere, the ballistic missiles begin their descent.
The attack has begun. The system prepares itself.
The U.S. Navy's defense doctrine isn't based on a single magic weapon. It's based on a concept called cooperative engagement.
Now imagine that the team members are guided missile destroyers, FA-18 Super Hornets, and E-2 Hawkeye early warning planes.
And the document is the battle space.
when the radars of the destroyer USS Arleigh Burke detect the first swarm of Iranian drones. That information doesn't belong only to the Arleigh Burke. The instant it's detected, it's transmitted to the entire network.
And then you can have a brilliant 3,030 traffic fry. A pilot in an FA-18 on combat air patrol 100 miles away now sees on his screen not just what—
This is the core of the trillion-dollar Navy. It's not a collection of ships and planes. It's a network of sensors and shooters.
And the weapon that embodies this philosophy is the Standard Missile 6, or SM-6.
It has its own processor, its own active radar. It's a weapon with distributed intelligence. The network thinks through it. Every missile is a sensory tentacle and a sting at the same time.
The SM-6s aren't heading to where the drones are, they are heading to where they will be, because the entire network is calculating their trajectories.
At high altitude, the missile warheads detonate, spraying the space with tungsten fragments. For the
Fox 3 play.
The pilot who launched it is ordering for his next target, trusting that the This is the crucial layer. Modern military superiority is about the speed and quality. The first waves of the Iranian attack, containing hundreds of drones and missiles, are systematically dismantled. But the attack was designed for saturation, and saturation is a matter of numbers. A wave of faster and stealthier—
Viper's radar warning receiver screams a warning. It's a radar lock from an Iranian anti-ship missile.
Acknowledged. Engaging countermeasures.
Radar active. Locking on.
Its own radar activates, it locks onto its target and pursues it relentlessly. The pilot who launched it is already maneuvering for his next target, trusting that the AMRAAM will complete its work. Modern military superiority is not about having the fastest missile or the most agile plane. It's about the speed and quality of decision-making.
The OODA cycle. Observe, orient, decide, act.
They are in the 21st century, but they are fighting against a network of the 20th century.
The first waves of the Iranian attack are systematically
Most of the threats are destroyed dozens of miles from the fleet. It seems like an easy victory, but the attack was designed for saturation. And saturation is a matter of numbers. A wave of faster and stealthier anti-ship missiles has managed to penetrate the outer layer of defense.
Viper's RWR, the radar warning receiver, screams a warning. It's not a probe, it's a radar lock from an Iranian anti-ship missile.
On his head-up display, Viper sees the symbols of the missiles, a group of 4 moving fast at low altitude.
His FA-18 banks sharply, twin engines roaring into the night. The Persian Gulf is a dark stain beneath him.
The CEC network allows the American fleet to execute that cycle at a speed that the Iranian command, depending on hierarchical and—
The first waves of the Iranian attack, those containing hundreds of drones and missiles, are systematically dismantled.
Most of the threats are destroyed dozens of miles from the fleet. It seems like an easy victory, but the attack was designed for saturation.
And saturation is a matter of numbers. Even with the network, there is a limit to the number of targets that can be engaged.
And in order itself to don't doubt fantasy, we don't drift and on separator without a layer of defense.
The network has identified the threat, but now a human operator has to resolve it.
His RWR, the radar warning receiver, screams a warning. It's not a probe, it's a radar lock from an Iranian anti-ship missile that has somehow bypassed the SM-6 screen.
On his head-up display, Viper sees the missile symbols. A group of 4 moving fast at low altitude.
His FA-18 banks sharply, twin engines roaring into the night. The Persian Gulf is a dark stain beneath him.
Fox 3, B. That's right.
The missile falls from the wing, its rocket motor ignites a fraction of a second later and accelerates to Mach 4. It's the Hound unleashed.
It doesn't chase the Iranian missile. It heads to a point in space where the missile will be in 90 seconds.
Iranian missiles don't fly in a straight line. They execute programmed maneuvers.
The first Iranian missile is vaporized in a silent fireball 10 miles away. Viper launches a second AMRAAM. Fox 3, the result is the same.
It doesn't chase the Iranian missile. It heads to a point in space where the missile will be in 90 seconds.
The adversary is not stupid. The Iranian missiles execute programmed maneuvers, sudden turns designed to break a radar lock.
The AMRAAM is a stubborn hunter. 2 Iranian missiles have disappeared. 2 remain.
They are getting close. Too close.
Viper pushes the throttle to the max. The Super Hornet accelerates, breaking the sound barrier in an explosion that no one on the ground will hear.
Now he's in range of his 20mm cannon. A stream of tracers illuminates the night. It's an old-school dogfight, but against a missile.
The first missile is shredded by the rain of projectiles. The second, however, keeps going. It's going to pass behind him.
3CO impact. The last Iranian missile is heading toward the fleet.
The last Iranian missile has been intercepted by a short-range Sea Sparrow missile from the destroyer USS Roosevelt. The northern sector is clear.
The defense has worked, but defending doesn't win a war. The Admiral's decision has already been made. Change from defense to offense.
The Iranian attack has given the U.S. administration the justification it needed. The Admiral's order is clear. Change from defense to offense. The goal is no longer to protect the fleet. The goal is to eliminate Iran's ability to threaten it again.
And AMRAAM missiles, the Sparrows, Hounds, designed to hunt radars.
Before March 1st, Iran had a navy built over 40 years. Afterward, they had a collection of targets that the U.S.
After March 1st, they had a collection of targets that the U.S. Navy would spend less than 1% of its annual budget to erase.
The weapons officer of the destroyer USS Arleigh Burke, a 28-year-old lieutenant, verifies the launch sequence for the 3rd time on his console.
A map of southern Iran is covered with pre-planned flight routes. Each line is a Tomahawk missile.
Launch sequence initiated.
On the deck, the hatches of the vertical launch systems open one by one with a thunderous whistle and a column of fire. The first Tomahawk is launched into the sky. Its turbofan engine ignites, the wings unfold, and the missile descends to low altitude.
50 missiles are launched from the Arleigh Burke and its sister ships.
At the same time, dozens of Super Hornets take off. Their wings are loaded with AMRAAM missiles, the Sparrows of the air. The AMRAAM has a different personality. It's a bloodhound attracted by the sound of a bell. The bell is the emission of an enemy radar.
The moment his radar turns on at full power, he has shouted position to the approaching missiles.
The radar operator in Bandar Abbas sees a bright light on his screen and then nothing.
They fly over.
The first explosions shake Bandar Abbas. A fuel depot explodes in a fireball that illuminates
The docks where the Iranian frigates are anchored are hit with implacable precision. It's not an indiscriminate bombardment, it's a systematic demolition.
Konarak to Chabahar and Bushehr, the same pattern is repeated. Coordinated waves of Tomahawks.
For 4 decades, Bandar Abbas was the heart of Iran's maritime power.
96 hours. I've learned 4 flies at the front.
The battle damage assessment reports, compiled from satellite imagery and aerial reconnaissance, confirm the result.
9 Iranian warships, including frigates and corvettes, sunk in their own ports. Dozens of smaller vessels destroyed.
Iran's bet had failed. The closure of the Strait of Hormuz did not provoke a diplomatic crisis. The massive attack did not overwhelm the American fleet.
Domestic return was not an equalizer. It was only an invitation. The trillion-dollar Navy didn't.
It won security. It won because every ship and every plane and every missile were part of a neural network.
The capacity to share information and act on it cooperatively, at speeds that the human mind can barely follow, was the true weapon. Iran brought a swarm of wasps to the fight, and the United States responded with a nervous system.
The difference was not in the individual technology, but in the architecture of the system.
It was the difference between a collection of instruments and a symphony orchestra.
For years, Iran called its strategy asymmetric warfare. They called it smart. For years, Iran called its strategy asymmetric warfare. They called it smart. They called it inevitable.
After 96 hours, it was clear what it really is, an invitation. And the bottom of the sea did the rest.
Tell us, did Iran's asymmetric warfare strategy have any real chance against this type of coordinated force?
The radar on this aircraft is a sensor node, feeding real-time truth into the trillion-dollar document.
A coordination of fire and steel that starts with a sensor and ends with a pilot's hand. Target locked. Fox 3.
The trillion-dollar Navy didn't just win a battle. It proved that a nervous system is the ultimate weapon of 2026.
And in the Persian Gulf in March 2026, the symphony was of fire and steel.
For years, Iran called its strategy asymmetric warfare. They called it smart. After 96 hours,
the Battle of March 2026 wasn't just a victory for the US Navy. It was a demonstration of a new era of warfare, where the network is the weapon.
As the fleet moves back toward the Indian Ocean, the message to the world is clear. The architecture of the network cannot be broken by a swarm.
Viper and his wingmen return to the deck. They are the eyes and the hands of a system that sees everything and misses nothing.
Operation Epic Fury will be studied in war colleges for years, not for the firepower used, but for the nervous system that coordinated it. In March 2026, the world learned that a navy is no longer measured by the thickness of its armor, but by the speed of its neurons. The Strait of Hormuz remained open. The threat had been erased. The trillion-dollar navy moved on to the next horizon.
Networked, integrated, unstoppable. This was Operation Epic Fury.